multiverse of beer and music.
Howdy, everybody. We've got an interesting night tonight. We're going to get out the Wayback Machine and we're going to venture out across the dimensions of time and space to do the channel's second reaction. This is a beer I've never had before, although I've had a couple beers from this brewery, and we're going to pair it with a song I've never heard before. And we'll talk more about the song later, but I'm going to need you guys to be free thinkers tonight. We're going to open our minds and be more accepting of hearing something that maybe we don't listen to all that much. More about that in a bit. First off, let's talk about this beer. This beer is called Sugar Moon. It is from Riverside Brewing Company in Cambridge Springs, Pennsylvania, which is up in the northwest corner of the state. And this is a maple amber ale. Weighs in at 5.8%. And Riverside's description of the beer is caramel malts and centennial hops provide just enough backbone to really let that sweet maple come through. Centennial hops are a Pacific Northwest American hop, kind of known as the Super Cascade because it's a very similar aroma and flavor profile to Cascade hops, another Pacific Northwest hop. It is a strong dual use hops. If you haven't watched my short on the process, link will be right here. Hops can be used for adding bitterness to a beer or aroma to a beer and flavor to a beer. Some hops are better at one than the other. Centennial is a good dual use hops. It's good at both being a bittering hop and an aroma and flavor hop. And it's known for its vibrant citrus notes and soft pine resinous notes. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays with a maple infused beer. Interesting thing about Riverside Brewing, the owners of Riverside, Deanna and Jason Howells, are also fourth generation owners of Howells Maple Farm. For 4 generations, the Howells family have been producing maple syrup and maple products, everything from regular maple syrups to barrel-aged maple syrups, barbecue sauces, mustards, salad dressings, all involving maple syrup, in addition to sweets and mapled nuts. So, interesting little side business there. But let's crack this open and take a look. Beautiful color. Beautiful amber color. Very clear, brilliantly clear. Smell it a little bit from here, but let's top her off and take a closer sniff. Nice thin head, off-white, mixed variegated size of very fine and medium-sized bubbles. You can really smell the malt backbone. Getting a little brightness from the hops, not really coming through as citrus or pine just yet, but just aromas that are pretty closely adjacent to maple, the sweeter malt aromas. Definitely a nice American amber ale. The hops definitely lend a firm, dry bitterness at the end. I get some resinousness, that piney note of the hops. The maple doesn't come through as strongly as I expected, given the aromas. It's more of like a caramely maple cookie note that's coming through. Maple's maybe getting a little bit buried. But rather enjoyable. I gotta confess, one of the beers I have had from them is their maple porter, which is really good and very, very mapley. So I'm surprised that the maple is so restrained in this one. But it's still a very good beer. Still definitely worth a drink if you happen to come across it anywhere. Get the can back up here so you guys can see it. Can art's very nice. Can art is pretty old-timey, which is a nice segue into the musical choice tonight, which is again a song I haven't heard. But like I said earlier, I need you to be a free thinker. Stealing that from the guys in Lost in Vegas, George and Ryan always talk about shout out to the free thinkers. And we need to be a free thinker every once in a while when we look at music, because not all music is going to be right in our wheelhouse. And tonight is probably going to be coming out of left field for quite a few of you. Tonight we're going back to 1947. Yes, I said it, 1947, for a song by the name of Sugar Moon. It was written by Bob Wills, and it was originally performed by Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. So let's check it out. All right, folks, here we go.
When it's sugar cane time, along around about June, I'll be walking with sugar, beneath the old sugar moon. Gonna drop her a line to expect me soon. Say I'm craving some sugar, beneath the old sugar moon. I can see her right now, she'll get the calendar down, scratch a circle around the date we're altar bound. When it's sugar cane time, along around about June, the wedding bells will be chiming beneath the old sugar moon.
Oh, Kelso.
When the sugar moon shines,
Yes.
long around about June,
Tell me more.
I'll be walking with sugar,
Oh, sugar.
beneath the old sugar moon. All the kisses I've missed,
Say kisses.
I'll be getting them soon.
I know what you
Sugar
mean.
kisses from sugar, beneath the old sugar moon. I'm a dreaming sweet dreams of all the love that I'll get. I get back to my pet, oh Lordy, how I'll fret till it's sugar cane time. All around about June, I'll be walking with sugar.
Oh, sugar.
Sugar moon.
Sugar.
So, what did you think of that? That was quite the toe tapper. Also, quick note on the beer. As it's warmed a little bit and opened up a little bit, I am getting a little more of the maple. It is mellowing out the hop bitterness on the back end. I just wanted to update that tasting note. So, that was Sugar Moon by Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. Bob Wills was a lead fiddle player, was one of the vocalists, but on this particular song, he was doing the talking. I don't know if you guys enjoyed that or not. Sometimes I did. Sometimes I found it a little bit annoying. But he was known for that. He came from originally performing in the 20s with medicine shows down in Texas and almost vaudevillian type acts where there was a lot of banter in the songs. And he was known for his ahas. So you need to catch a couple of those in the tune. But that was a pretty big hit for them. That came out in 1947 and it hit Billboard's top 40 country songs all the way up to number 1 and stayed on the charts for 6 weeks. Bob Wills is credited as being the founder of Western swing, and this is a good example of the style of music known as Western swing. You kind of catch a little bit of big band swing music feel to it. It's definitely a country Western style, originated in Texas, the Southwest, and also gained huge popularity in California, of all places. I know we're thinking about California with today's minds. You don't realize that California in the 20s, 30s, 40s was much different than the California of today. Western swing is known for its up-tempo beats and dance-inspiring songs. It actually became a very huge hit in dance halls in Texas, Oklahoma, and California in the 30s and 40s, all the way up to 1944, when the federal government during wartime established a nightclub tax, which basically shut down nightclubs. If you think about it, it does sound a bit like big band swing. The major difference is instrumentation. In Western swing, the band follows the lead fiddle. There's always fiddle. There's always a violin involved, whereas big band swing is much more brass and woodwind heavy, saxophones, trumpets, trombones, etc. It wasn't until the late 50s and 60s that Western swing and Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys started to fade in popularity after having a couple of heart attacks in the decade of the 60s. In 1969, he suffered a stroke, which left him partially paralyzed, and he never performed again from that. Ended up in a nursing home in Fort Worth, where he died from pneumonia in 1975. But his influences live on. He's a major influence for country western acts like Buck Owens, Merle Haggard, and essentially his protege, Willie Nelson. Later bands like Asleep at the Wheel, Commander Cody, and his Lost Planet Airmen really embraced that style also. And you can hear a lot of Western swing if you have a Sirius XM subscription on the Bakersfield Beat channel number 349. But that was fun, don't you think? You got to have an open mind about these things. It was definitely a lively tune. It really kept you tapping your toe, and I can see how people would want to get up and dance to that. Definitely some feel good music. Check out some of the links in the description below. There's some notable covers: K.D. Lang, Asleep at the Wheel, Willie Nelson. So check those out. And if you like what I'm doing here, if you're feeling the vibe, give it a like. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. And when you subscribe, hit the notification bell because I'm putting out new content at least once a week. So don't miss anything because there's always something to miss. And feel free to share. But most importantly, leave me a comment. If you like what I'm doing, if you didn't like something I did, if you want to call me out on something, if you want to challenge me, as has been done unsuccessfully in the past, leave a comment. Let me know what's on your mind. Love to interact. Until then, keep drinking.